My roommate was infatuated with someone who was not only deceitful but also riddled with disease. I urged her to break up with him immediately. She promptly ended the relationship with her boyfriend. I thought I had done a great, meritorious deed. Who knew that after the breakup, that fake rich guy would start dating a girl who was inferior to him in every way, then flaunt their love all over school? Yesterday, he gifted Chanel. Today, he gifted LV. Feeding pigeons in London in the morning, having dinner and drinking wine in Paris at night. My roommate was green with envy, believing I had tricked her, wanting her to get back with that imposter. When she failed, she grew hateful. She thought I had ruined her good fortune. In the end, she deliberately damaged the balcony railing, causing me to fall to my death. Returning once more, I sealed my lips. If she wanted to die, I wouldn't stop her. Shen man, hurry up and tell me. Susie asked me out to watch a movie. Tang Viet's impatient voice pulled me back from my daze. I looked up to see Tang Viet, elegantly made up, wearing a fitted dress and high heels, her face alight with anticipation. I suddenly realized I had truly been reborn. Reborn at the very moment I was about to tell Tang Viet that her boyfriend was a complete sex virus king and a fake rich heir. Last time, I was working as a waitress at a restaurant and happened to overhear Tang Viet's new boyfriend bragging. University students who haven't stepped into society yet are really easy targets. Rich heirs are, of course, very attractive. Just a few fake designer items are enough to make them revolve around you like windmills. Today, I sent her clay powder. Tonight we'll open the package and just play. Play hard, that's right. But if she knows you have an illness, will she make a big fuss? Afraid of what? Once she's infected, she'll probably hide it even better than I do. Who would dare to tell anyone? That's true. How many people have you played with? Have you ever failed? Same as always, when you get bored, share her with the bros. The bros won't forget your share. I remembered seeing Susie's photo as Tang Viet's phone wallpaper. When Tang Viet first met Susie, he gifted her a necklace worth over 30 million VND. Tang Viet even showed it off to us, so my impression of him was deep. There was no way I could mistake him. Knowing he was a sex virus king and a fake rich heir, I immediately thought about it and rushed back to the dorm. I recounted the whole truth to Tang Viet. In my previous life, after hearing me, Tang Viet immediately broke up with Susie. Who knew that after they broke up, Susie would start dating a very ordinary girl in school and flaunt their love everywhere? Yesterday, he gifted Chanel. Today, he gifted LV. Feeding pigeons in London in the morning, having dinner and drinking wine in Paris at night. Tang Viet was consumed by jealousy, thinking I had tricked her. After her efforts to reconcile with Susie failed, she resented me, believing I had ruined her good fortune. In the end, she deliberately damaged the balcony railing, causing me to fall to my tragic death. After I died, my soul drifted around the school. I saw my mother's hair turn white overnight as she came to collect my body. My mother even had her leg broken by thugs hired by Tang Viet because there was no evidence. The school and the police both ruled my death an accident. Tang Viet not only escaped legal punishment, but also used my tragic death as a stepping stone, pretending to be the nation's empathetic roommate to care for my mother. She filmed a series of videos, building her image, earning money hand over fist. Finally, she even married a truly wealthy young master and had children, never facing any retribution. Shen man, what on earth is so important? Hurry up and tell me. Susie is urging me. He's rich and an only child, a bit arrogant. I can't let him wait too long. Tang Viet pressed me, her face full of impatience. This image was exactly like her face when I fell from the tall building in my previous life. I instantly sobered up. Why should I help such a malicious roommate? If she wanted to die, then let her die. I casually found an excuse to gloss over her group assignment. Your group assignment? Submit it quickly. Otherwise, I'll submit it myself. Tang Viet couldn't believe it. You called me back to the dorm just for this. The daily assessment score accounts for 50% of the total final grade. Isn't this very important? Right now, our group is the only one in the class that hasn't submitted yet. Tang Viet glared at me, then said, I'll do it after the movie, don't bother me. She grabbed the fake designer bag Susie had given her, put on her high heels, and left to meet him. Watching Tang Viet's hurried back, I breathed a sigh of relief. In this life, without my warning, I wanted to see how far she and that fake rich guy would go. I knew for sure Tang Viet wouldn't be back at the dorm tonight. I immediately compiled the group assignment and sent it to the class representative. Tang Viet posted on social media movie tickets, roses, a romantic candlelight dinner, and fake brand name gifts. She also added a sweet and pretentious caption, "Met the best person at the best time." The next day, when she returned to the dorm, I had already submitted the group assignment. Tang Viet didn't seem to care much. Instead, she showed off the diamond ring Suzy had given her. "This is a 5-carat diamond. Some people are married and still can't afford a ring this big. What's a group assignment?" Suzy said if I can't graduate, I should just drop out and be a full-time housewife at home. After all, he'll support me. Tang Viet's face was beaming with happiness, but in reality, she had been deceived by a fake ring only worth a few $100s. Looking at her moved expression, I felt a chill down my spine, thinking she might have been infected. I involuntarily shivered, grabbed my backpack, and headed straight to the library. Tang Viet called me back. "Shen man, you're the only one in the dorm who doesn't have a boyfriend. Suzy has a few bros who are in very good shape. Shall I introduce you?" What's so good about the friends of a sex virus king? I immediately refused. I don't need it. I didn't expect my refusal to make Tang Viet's smile freeze. "You're really ungrateful. I'm kindly introducing a boyfriend to you. If you don't believe me, fine, but why the attitude? Suzy's friends are all rich. Don't you look at your own circumstances? I'm introducing them out of respect for us living in the same dorm." I retorted coldly, "Please, don't show me any more respect. I'm not worthy of your boyfriend's wealthy friends." My sarcastic tone made Tang Viet grit her teeth. "Ungrateful, you deserve to live a humble life forever. How I live is not for you to judge, but I know for sure I will live more comfortably than you." Although sexually transmitted diseases have limited modes of transmission, I still felt haunted by the thought of living with Tang Viet, who carried all sorts of illnesses. If I got infected, I would regret it forever. I desperately wanted to move out, but my family's financial situation didn't allow it. Renting a place was a huge financial burden, so I had to temporarily endure. Once again, when Tang Viet showed off the designer items Suzy had given her, I scoffed. So what if he's a rich second generation? He still crowds into a tiny dorm with us every day. Jiang Wangshu's boyfriend even bought her a house because he was worried she wouldn't sleep well. Tang Viet, is your boyfriend a fake rich second generation? He doesn't even dare to buy you a house. Jiang Wangshu was another one of our roommates. Her family was wealthy, and her boyfriend matched her in status. In the dorm, Jiang Wangshu's family was the wealthiest, but she only stayed in the dorm for a few days before moving out. Recently, she even said her place was a bit noisy, so her boyfriend bought her a bigger apartment. Tang Viet pretended to be indifferent, but in reality, she always considered herself beautiful and talented, secretly comparing herself to Jiang Wangshu. She always tried to get what Jiang Wangshu had. Now that she had a rich second-generation boyfriend, she became even more arrogant. As expected, Tang Viet sneered. "It's just a house, is it really worth showing off? It's not hers anyway." I didn't bother to care about her attitude, merely saying, "Consider me jealous then." The next day, Tang Viet posted about her new apartment on social media. Just casually mentioned wanting a small place, and he immediately gifted me a house. There's really no man dumber than him. Lucky he met me. Small must mean a lover's den in her terms. When Tang Viet returned to the dorm to pack her belongings and move out, several red spots had appeared on her thigh, right near the edge of her shorts. That was one of the symptoms of a sexually transmitted disease. As soon as Tang Viet moved out, I immediately bought sterilizing equipment and performed a thorough cleaning of the dorm. My roommate Jo Hyun teased me, "Why are you so afraid of Tang Viet, like she's a plague?" I joked back, but with an underlying warning, "She's even scarier than a plague. You should stay away from her later." Sexually transmitted diseases can be cured, but HIV cannot. If one is lucky, they live to old age. If unlucky, they could die at any moment. If they knew Tang Viet was sick, they would probably avoid her even more. Tang Viet's public display of affection grew more and more ostentatious. Her social media was filled with posts showing off gifts. Everyone in the department knew she had a rich second-generation boyfriend who treated her extremely well. Tang Viet reveled in the envious glances of others, like an arrogant peacock strutting everywhere, boasting about her happy life with her boyfriend. Occasionally, during shared specialized courses, she would hold her head high and arrogantly, not forgetting to subtly hint at me. Honestly, you're really ungrateful. You, a poor girl from a single-parent family, don't even value my boyfriend's friends. I don't understand what you're thinking. Many girls actively approached Tang Viet, asking her to introduce them to boyfriends. Tang Viet glanced at me with meaningful eyes, then smiled, promising to arrange meetings for them. I wanted to warn them, but I was afraid of meeting the same tragic end as in my previous life. Everyone has greed and vanity, but that shouldn't lead beautiful young girls to misfortune. After a long deliberation, I still couldn't bear to let innocent people become victims. However, this time I wouldn't step forward directly. I registered an anonymous account on a popular social media platform for young people. Then, I wrote a warning post. Heard that the campus beauty queen from the English department at a certain university is riddled with diseases. He's posing as a rich heir to deceive people. He even wants his girlfriend to introduce other female university students to his malicious friends who have already been infected. I chose to publish it within the city. With the current mechanism of social media spread, I thought someone in the school would see it. Posts exposing people like this usually go viral. In just half a day, the post had over 100 comments. An account confirmed to be a student from my university commented that the story sounded very much like their department's beauty queen. Seeing the post gaining more and more attention, I immediately deleted it and deleted the account, disappearing without a trace. The next day, after a specialized course, a girl who had asked Tang Viet to introduce her to a boyfriend blocked her in the crowd and asked directly, "Is your boyfriend sick? Are you living a miserable life and deliberately introducing us to sick men?" Tang Viet angrily shouted, "What nonsense are you talking about? My boyfriend is very clean, he has no illness. Don't you dare slander me." The girl immediately held up her phone in front of Tang Viet. I also leaned in to look. On the screen was the warning post I had published, but someone had screenshotted it and reposted it. It had huge views. In the post, I had mentioned a few small details that coincided with Tang Viet, making her face turn pale instantly. Tang Viet shook her head repeatedly. "No, it can't be. Suzy isn't that kind of person. He treats me very well. How could he deceive me?" The girl scoffed, "Don't believe me. That bag you're carrying, it's all fake, isn't it? Look at the material, it's clearly a knockoff." After saying that, the person snatched Tang Viet's handbag. In the class, there was a student who dealt in second-hand designer goods. She took one look and immediately confirmed that Tang Viet's bag was indeed fake. Tang Viet had been too ostentatious for too long, and many people already disliked her. Immediately, some people ridiculed, "You've really been tricked. Tang Viet, you haven't slept with your boyfriend, have you? Oh my God, everyone, look at her legs. Are those cold sores? They look like genital warts." Tang Viet panicked, pushed through the crowd, and fled. Many people gathered in small groups, discussing whether Tang Viet's boyfriend was truly the kind of person described in the warning post. Some even went online to search if the red spots on her legs were genital warts. Jo Hyuen, a roommate, worriedly asked me, "Tang Viet isn't really sick, is she?" "Who knows?" I replied coldly, but also showed vigilance. It would be truly worrying if she came back to the dorm. Jo Hyuen's worry was not unfounded. Indeed, the very next afternoon, Tang Viet returned to the dorm. She didn't say a word, her eyes were bruised, and her face was extremely sullen and uncomfortable. The fake designer bag and fake diamond jewelry were gone. Instead, Tang Viet carried a normal canvas bag and wore a long dress that covered her legs. Tang Viet's story had spread throughout the department. Everyone knew she had been dating Suzy for over a month and likely had been infected. Jo Hyuen curiously asked, "Weren't you living outside? Why did you come back to the dorm?" Tang Viet sneered, "Are you guys also believing what people are saying? Afraid I'll infect you?" Jo Hyuen yelled, "That's HIV, who wouldn't be scared?" Tang Viet chuckled but then answered seriously, "Don't worry, I'm not sick. That post wasn't about me." Jo Hyuen didn't believe her and pointed at Tang Viet's legs, asking, "Then what are those red spots on your legs?" "I went to the doctor, it's just a skin allergy. It'll go away in a few days." Jo Hyuen was still half believing, half doubting. Looking at Tang Viet, who lied without batting an eyelid, I stated frankly, go to the hospital and get tested for infectious diseases, then show us the results. A normal person, if faced with this, would immediately get tested. Tang Viet's sudden return to the dorm was certainly because she had argued with Suzy. This proved that Tang Viet fully knew she had been infected. Tang Viet's eyes widened, her pupils dilated, and her expression changed. "Shen man, don't be so excessive." "What's excessive about taking responsibility for your own life's safety? If you're not sick, what's wrong with getting a checkup? There's a hospital right on campus. It's very convenient." Tang Viet was both embarrassed and angry. "You say check up and I have to check up? On what basis? Why should I pay? On what basis can't I stay in the dorm?" Seeing Tang Viet's reaction, Jo Hyun immediately understood. "You're really sick. You can't continue to live with us." Tang Viet suddenly collapsed, screaming, No, I told you I'm not. What else do you want from me?" She frantically swept everything off the table, throwing whatever she could grab onto the floor. Her canvas bag fell and its contents scattered. A few white test papers fell out. I quickly picked them up and glanced at them. All the test items showed positive results. Before Tang Viet could lunge to snatch them back, I handed the test papers to Jo Hyun. Jo Hyun took one look and couldn't help but exclaim, "Oh my God, Tang Viet, you're the virus queen. I'm going to report this to the academic advisor and demand you be expelled from the dorm." If Suzy was the virus king, then Tang Viet was now the true virus queen. Jo Hyun, holding the test papers, ran like the wind out of the room, heading straight for the department office. Tang Viet's face turned pale, then flushed red with anger as she chased after her. But how could she catch up to Jo Hyun, who used to be a member of the school's track team? With her long legs, Jo Hyun's one step was equal to my 3. "Excellent, Jo Hyun." I couldn't let her face this alone and hurriedly chased after her with my short legs. On the way, I met classmates who asked what was happening. I, out of breath, replied, "Tang Viet is really sick." When I arrived at the advisor's office, an argument had already begun. Tang Viet was crying her eyes out, while Jo Hyun's face was as black as thunder, firmly demanding that Tang Viet move out of the dorm. If she doesn't move out and we get infected, who will be responsible? The advisor also looked troubled. When Tang Viet approached the advisor, she instinctively took a step back. Indeed, everyone feared HIV. It wasn't just empty talk. Not to mention, besides HIV, Tang Viet also suffered from other infectious diseases. Jo Hyun continued to shout, "What are you crying about? You brought this upon yourself by being promiscuous and getting sick. Now, with just 2 drops of tears, you want us to risk living with you. When you were showing off your necklace, diamond ring, and house, why didn't you consider if any of those meals were free? If you don't move out, I'll make a huge scene and expose your true face to the entire school." Jo Hyun grew angrier as she spoke. "Damn it, we've lived with you for so long. Who knows if we've been infected or not?" Feeling pleased, I stepped up beside Jo Hyun and also spoke. "I don't want to share a room with Tang Viet anymore either. Forcing us to continue living with her is no different from forcing us to die. She didn't know how to protect herself, got sick, and instead of finding the person who caused it, she blames us. That's utterly unreasonable. She clearly knows what kind of person her boyfriend is, yet she still wanted to introduce those scumbags to our classmates. This is a university, not a brothel. Was she planning to become a madam? If it were any other victim, I wouldn't have said such harsh words. But Tang Viet was twisted in both thought and character. Even the most venomous words weren't enough to express my indignation. Tang Viet stopped crying, her face flushed crimson with anger. Her fingers trembled as she pointed at me and Jo Hyun. I'll sue you for revealing my private life. The law clearly states that personal information cannot be disclosed without permission. You've broken the law, and I'll make you pay." I burst out laughing, unable to hold back. "Good. I'll also sue you for intentionally transmitting an infectious disease. You also tried to introduce your boyfriend to us multiple times. Let's take this to court and see who's right and who's wrong." Jo Hyun spoke boldly. "I'll testify. Tang Viet always wanted to introduce her boyfriend's friends to us." The advisor looked at Tang Viet, her expression serious. "Are they telling the truth?" Tang Viet gasped, unable to answer. I added, "Not just me, many other girls in the class too. Call them and ask once, it'll be clear." Tang Viet had spoken loudly when she said she would introduce boyfriends to others. Not a few people had heard her. Tang Viet's problem was a special case, caused by her own promiscuous lifestyle. It couldn't be blamed on the teachers. But if many people in the department became infected with HIV at the same time, the academic advisor would certainly find it hard to deny responsibility. The advisor also worried that this would cause big trouble, so she chose to handle it with a save face for everyone approach. After mediating between both sides, the advisor asked Tang Viet to move out of the dorm. Tang Viet threatened suicide to coerce her. Having no other choice, the advisor arranged a double room for her, but only Tang Viet would live there. When Tang Viet returned to the dorm to get her luggage, she glanced at me and Jo Hyun with venomous eyes. After all that trouble, I ended up getting a comfortable room for you guys. I guess I should thank you. Tang Viet's poisonous gaze made Jo Hyun shiver. She rubbed her arm, where goosebumps had just appeared. She won't take revenge on us, will she? I calmly replied, why not? In my previous life, I helped her stay away from that terrible boyfriend, but she became jealous when she saw him with someone else, thinking I had tricked her. As a result, she deliberately killed me. People like her, who don't distinguish right from wrong and only live for themselves, are very good at blaming others. She won't blame herself, she'll just blame everything on you and me. By now, she must hate us to the bone. Jo Hyun worriedly asked, so what do we do now, having such a poisonous snake nearby, just waiting for an opportunity to bite? Who wouldn't be scared? I thought to myself, but it wasn't appropriate to say it out loud. We can only be more careful and stay away from her. Jo Hyun sighed. If she had just been a little more understanding and dropped out, it would have been so much better. I didn't reply, just dropping out. In my previous life, she caused my tragic death, even deliberately crippled my mother, then used the dirty money from my and my mother's blood and tears to live lavishly. If she just dropped out, that would be too lenient for her. Rumors spread quickly with my subtle push. Almost everyone in the class knew about Tang Viet's boyfriend being sick. In addition, today's dorm incident, confirmed by the advisor, raised suspicions that Tang Viet was also infected. During specialized courses, the seats around Tang Viet were empty. Everyone deliberately kept their distance. Even the teacher subconsciously looked at her with a different expression. Tang Viet was completely isolated. During the break, Tang Viet held her notebook and walked towards a classmate who once had a crush on her, but before she could get close, the person made an excuse and left. Tang Viet's face turned red, and she stomped her foot in anger. When she turned around, she saw me chatting happily with my classmates. She clenched her fists and angrily asked, "What are you laughing at? Is something so funny?" I retorted casually, "You know I'm laughing at you, so I guess you also know you're very funny, don't you?" Tang Viet gritted her teeth. "Shen man, don't be so excessive. I just met a bad person, I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't provoke you either, so why are you treating me like this? Even if I'm infected, so what? Normal social contact doesn't transmit the disease. I've been tricked and I'm already miserable enough, now I'm being ostracized by you all. We're classmates, why are you treating me like this?" After saying that, Tang Viet burst into tears, slumping onto the table, sobbing. Tang Viet's weakness was effective. Some people began to soften. Are we treating her too harshly like this? Who in college doesn't date? She just got tricked by her boyfriend. Being infected is already miserable enough. Another person chimed in. They also said that normal social contact doesn't spread the disease. We're being too harsh, it's not good. Hearing this, Tang Viet cried even more heartbrokenly, her eyes red, feeling both wronged and grateful. My relationship with you all was never close, but you understand and sympathize with me. There are still many good people in this world. I truly thank you for standing by me. She cast a meaningful glance at me. A compassionate female classmate immediately spoke up for Tang Viet. If Shen Man hadn't deliberately revealed this, she wouldn't have to endure so much malice. I heard Shen Man even made a fuss with the advisor, forcing her out of the dorm. The dorm is communal, what right do you have to kick Tang Viet out? If you don't want to live with her, then move out yourself. If that's the case, then move out yourself. It's not so easy to use morality to bind others, I retorted. What do you mean, I forced her to move out? That was the academic advisor's decision. You're so kind-hearted. I remember your dorm room still has an empty bed, right? Why didn't you tell the advisor that you were willing to let Tang Viet live with you? The saintly classmate's face stiffened slightly, a look of embarrassment clearly visible. She weakly argued, "The dorm is arranged by the school. You can't just change it whenever you want." I smiled faintly. Why not? Didn't Tang Viet successfully change rooms? If you want to do a good deed and foster unity with friends, I think the advisor wouldn't refuse. If you find it troublesome, I can help you talk to the advisor. Tang Viet is very lonely right now. Having someone as empathetic and understanding as you by her side would surely be wonderful. If no one wants her to move into their room, you can move in with Tang Viet. You two can keep each other company, it's perfect. I said, while pretending to go find the advisor. The classmate immediately grabbed my arm, her grip so strong it hurt. "Don't go." Her saintly face flushed red, then turned pale as if she just wanted to find a hole to crawl into. I yanked my arm away. Without waiting for her to justify herself, I coldly said, "You yourself don't want to, so why are you forcing others? Look, Tang Viet seems to like you a lot, but even you don't want to live with her. So what right do you have to blame me?" I looked at Tang Viet and added, "If you meet bad people, I feel sorry for you. But if you accidentally transmit diseases to us, who will pity us?" Not a few people agreed with my words. "That's right, very well said." Tang Viet couldn't stand the humiliation. She covered her face and ran crying out of the classroom. She managed to garner some sympathy from those soft-hearted individuals. However, this uproar was not without effect. A few people still dared to socialize with Tang Viet, but most people kept their distance. Gradually, less attention was paid to her. After all, as long as normal social distance was maintained, Tang Viet didn't cause any problems. However, with my experience from my previous life, I didn't believe Tang Viet would be so well behaved. Before things settled, I remained on high alert. One time, after a 10-minute break, I noticed my water bottle had been touched. Its position had shifted to the left, and the design on the cup was not aligned as I had left it. I immediately looked towards Tang Viet. She feigned nonchalance, chatting happily with other classmates. I quietly took out the mini camera hidden in my backpack and played the video recorded 10 minutes earlier. In the video, a hand with pale blue, tulip-patterned fingernails unscrewed my bottle cap and dropped a few drops of an unknown liquid into it. Due to the angle, the person's face wasn't clear, but I distinctly remembered Tang Viet having this exact nail decoration when she ran out of the classroom. The teacher had already stepped onto the podium. Tang Viet turned her head and saw me about to open my bottle cap. She subtly smirked. When it was my turn to present my individual report, I said nothing but projected the video directly onto the large screen. Looking at Tang Viet's feigned calm but pale face, I smiled coldly. The teacher doubtfully asked, "Shen Man, is this video related to your report?" "No, teacher, but I want to report that someone just put a strange substance into my water bottle. This is the evidence." My words were like a thunderclap, causing a stir in the entire classroom. "Are you sure?" the teacher asked again. I nodded. The teacher immediately called the academic advisor to handle the situation. "Whoever put something in Shen Man's water bottle, it's best to confess." Everyone in the class exchanged glances, but no one spoke. I fast-forwarded the video, pointed at the image of the prominent tulip-patterned fingernails, zoomed in, and said, "Don't think you can hide just because your face isn't visible. These hands are the evidence." A female student suddenly spoke loudly. "I remember Tang Viet's nails had blue tulip patterns like that." Others also began to discuss. "No way, Tang Viet used to be Shen Man's roommate. How could she poison Shen Man? But Tang Viet had a huge fight with Shen Man before. If she held a grudge, it's possible." Another person suggested, "These nails look quite distinctive. Everyone just needs to show their hands and it'll be clear." Many people in the class simultaneously raised their hands. Only Tang Viet remained still. The teacher looked at Tang Viet with a stern expression. "If you don't want to be wrongly accused, raise your hand." Tang Viet's face was chalk white, her eyes filled with hatred fixed on me. She refused to raise her hand, and no one dared to pull her hand out. I said sternly, "If you don't raise your hand, I'll call the police immediately." No sooner had I spoken than the academic advisor rushed in, out of breath, asking, "Who called the police?" Seeing me and Tang Viet, she looked flustered, as if suffering from a persistent headache. "It's you two again." I stated directly, "Tang Viet put a poisonous substance into my water bottle. I've already called the police. This is a criminal act and must be dealt with by law. The advisor immediately waved her hands, trying to mediate. Let's talk about whatever happened slowly. The school will definitely handle it fairly and appropriately. There's no need to call the police and blow things out of proportion. Now, let's go to the office to talk. However, I wouldn't let her continue to push things aside. As soon as I finished watching the video, I called the police. They're probably on their way here now. What's the point of going to the office? This is the primary scene of the incident, and there are so many witnesses. I don't believe anyone would dare to cover up the truth. Moreover, this is no longer something the advisor can resolve. I looked at Tang Viet. Even if you don't admit it, it's fine. The evidence is too clear. Everyone saw it. If you don't say anything, then let the police investigate. Tang Viet suddenly stood up, slammed her hand on the table, revealing her prominent blue tulip pattern nails. Yes, I did it. So what? If it weren't for you, how would I have gotten sick? How would I have to take medication for the rest of my life like this? It's all your fault you harmed me. These words stunned me. The one who harmed her should have been Suzy. Why had it become me? Tang Viet, her face contorted, continued to blame me. If you weren't constantly in the dorm, talking about Jiang Wangshu, talking about how rich her family was, how she knew a rich boyfriend, how would I have fallen into someone else's trap for a moment of vanity? My mind went blank. I couldn't believe she could twist everything and blame me just because I had mentioned Jiang Wangshu a few times. Is there something wrong with your head? I also said the class representative's GPA was 4 every semester, always ranked first in class. Why didn't you imitate her and fall into the trap of academic achievement? Did I force you to find a boyfriend? Did I force you to sleep with your boyfriend without protection? You yourself have an impure heart, why blame me? Tang Viet screamed and lunged to attack me. I dodged aside. She lost her balance and fell face first into the edge of the table. A thud echoed as her head hit the table's edge, leaving a deep gash. Blood began to flow from the wound. Seeing Tang Viet injured, no one dared to approach and help her. She slowly stood up, her dark eyes full of hatred staring at me, as if wanting to tear me to shreds. Just then, outside, the wail of a police siren approached. The advisor froze, then turned to ask me, "When did you call the police?" "Before you arrived here." Tang Viet turned to look out the window and saw the police car already entering the campus grounds. She panicked, quickly pushed through the crowd, and fled. I was about to chase her, but Jiang Wangshu held me back. "Don't chase, she's injured. Do you want to get infected by her disease?" Tang Viet fled and never returned to the dorm. The police took my water bottle for testing. The results confirmed that the substance in the bottle was straight K, a highly toxic pesticide. Even a small amount could be fatal. Tang Viet completely disappeared for over half a month. No one knew her whereabouts. Until one day, Jiang Wangshu sent me a message. Suzy was stabbed to death in a hotel living room. He was naked in bed at the time. Camera footage showed Tang Viet had been to that hotel. Suzy had harmed countless innocent girls. His death could be considered well-deserved. Perhaps this time, Tang Viet had truly done a good deed. But I knew clearly that after killing Suzy, Tang Viet's next target was very likely me. I couldn't sit by and wait for death. Relying on others was not as good as taking action myself. I took a temporary leave from my part-time job, didn't leave the school, and maintained my normal routine, only moving between classrooms and the dorm. That afternoon, I went to the dorm rooftop to collect clothes. Suddenly, I heard a slight noise behind the water tank. Turning around, I saw Tang Viet emerge, holding a shiny fruit knife. I frequently posted personal updates on social media. This morning, before leaving home, I had posted a status, "Beautiful sunny day, perfect for airing quilts." Before that, I had posted many similar statuses. Finally, today she appeared. Perhaps because she hadn't taken her medication for a long time, Tang Viet's complexion looked visibly pale. The wound on her forehead had scabbed over. Her clothes were wrinkled, and her long hair, once carefully styled, was now tied back messily. "Shen Man, long time no see." Tang Viet, holding the knife, slowly approached me, her eyes dark and terrifying. "You were reborn, weren't you? Why didn't you warn me like in the previous life that Suzy was problematic? You're truly malicious, daring to watch me step by step into the trap Suzy set. Now that my life is not good, don't expect yours to be peaceful either." Tang Viet raised the knife and lunged at me. I immediately pulled out the pepper spray hidden on my waist and sprayed it directly into her face. Ah, she screamed, covering her eyes. While she couldn't see, I threw a noose, pulling hard. Tang Viet fell to the ground. After years of practicing tying ropes for horses, this was the first time I tied up a person. Luckily, it was quite effective this time. I kicked the knife out of her hand and quickly tied Tang Viet up tightly. In my previous life, you caused my death. Now you still want me to help you? You're truly sick. Tang Viet was tied up as tightly as a asterisk ban tet, a traditional Vietnamese sticky rice cake. I dragged her to the edge of the rooftop and dangled her precariously over the side. You bastard, let me up. Murder is illegal, don't you know that? I stood above her, looking down with a cold smile. Oh, now you know murder is illegal. When you deliberately broke the railing and made me fall, did you think of that? In my previous life, I didn't have the chance, but in this life, let me give you a taste of what it's like to fall from a height. I let the rope slacken, and she dropped a long distance. Tang Viet shrieked. A stream of yellow liquid ran down from her. I looked down. This area was full of dense bushes, no paths, and no one passed by. Someone as famous as Tang Viet, scared to the point of peeing her pants. If this news gets out, how will you ever show your face again? Tang Viet was very concerned about her dignity. Hearing me say that, she was in as much pain as if she had been killed. She struggled violently, screaming, "Shen man, you bastard, I won't forgive you." I laughed mockingly. What will you use to get revenge on me? You've committed murder. You'll spend the rest of your life in prison. She struggled, causing her body to swing in midair. The extreme fear made Tang Viet dare not move further. I thought she would fight to the death, but it turned out she was also afraid of dying. From afar, I saw police cars approaching. I slowly pulled the rope, little by little, raising Tang Viet. Tang Viet was arrested. She faced a lengthy trial. When I went for my internship, she had already been sentenced to death. On the day of my graduation, my mother came to attend the ceremony. We wore graduation robes and took many commemorative photos. That night, I had a terrifying dream. In the dream, my mother was confined in a small, dirty, windowless storage room. Tang Viet forced my mother to wear clean clothes and move to a bright, warm room whenever she went live. When my mother didn't cooperate, she used needles hidden in her sleeves to stab my mother's skin. Every day, my mother grew thinner and more exhausted. In the live stream, Tang Viet cried, saying that my mother missed her child so much she became ill. She decided to take her mother on a trip to cheer her up. Viewers were touched and continuously sent gifts, saying they would sponsor all expenses for my mother. Tang Viet forced my mother to travel everywhere. One night, my mother discovered the truth about my death. While Tang Viet wasn't paying attention, my mother used a knife to stab her to death. Afterwards, my mother crawled step by step to the peak of the highest Buddha mountain, her hands torn and bleeding, just to pray for me to be whole in the next life. Man, what's wrong? Why are you crying? My mother shook me awake, her face full of worry. Did you have a nightmare? Wake up quickly, it's morning. We still have to catch the high-speed train home. I sat up, still startled. I just had a terrifying nightmare, Mom. It was so scary. My mother smiled and patted my shoulder. Don't worry, dreams are the opposite of reality. It's nothing. I nodded. Yesterday, we had sent most of our luggage. Today, my mother and I only carried a few light items. The high-speed train was on time. My mother and I boarded the train back to our hometown, leaving all the chaos of the past behind.